Welcome back to the Hidden Breach in our 5th Malifaux 3rd edition battle report. Today we have something special for you. We are going to present you a battle report with some of the new titles. Christian and I are going to play a matchup of Hoffmann Inventor versus JackDaw Ensouled. We are very excited to see how the game goes and how the new titles play. A note on the side, if you like our videos and our channel, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button to always be informed about our new content. And with nothing further to say, we are going into the scenario and the Crewselection. Today's scenario. We are playing Wedge deployment and we are playing the strategy Corrupted Ley Lines. Our scheme pool is Vendetta, Catch&Release, Let Them Bleed, Outflank and Research Mission. Crewselection Attacker first. I play JackDaw Ensouled and his totem Lady Ligeia. I play his henchman Montressor. I played the Enforcer Jakuna Ubumu, the new Enforcer August Hart, the Dead Rider, and a Hanged with the upgrade Grave Spirit's Touch. I take 5 soulstones with me into the game. Christian, as defender, plays Hoffmann Inventor. He plays the totem Mechanical Attendant, the henchman Joss with the upgrade Diesel Engine, the Enforcer Peacekeeper with the upgrade Soulstone Cache, a Hunter, the Enforcer Medical Automaton, the Enforcer Mobile Toolkit, and the new Enforcer Metallurgist. Christian also takes 5 soulstones with him into the game. You now see the schemes both players have chosen for the game. We start in 3, 2, 1. An overview over today's terrain. We got 3 houses, one at the bottom, one in the middle, and our train station on the left side. Those are being played as blocking height 4 impassable terrain. We got 2 ruined houses in the middle and on the top side, which are played as height 2 blocking climbable terrain, once for each floor. We got 3 containers, bottom right, middle right, upper right. Those are being played as blocking height 2 climbable terrain. We have some walls all over the map. Those are being played as height 2 blocking terrain. We got some fences, which are being played as hazardous injured +1. We have several trees, which are being played as concealing terrain. The fog banks are concealing and dense. And the puddles in the middle are severe terrain. Everything else is just for decoration or height 1 destructible scatter terrain. Deployment, attacker first. Christian chose for me to deploy JackDaw, the Dead Rider, and Jakuna Ubumu. JackDaw is next to the house on the left side. And Jakuna Ubumu and the Dead Rider are between the 2 houses. Christian deployed and has made the big pile of his crew. Hoffmann in the middle, and right to left it's Joss, Mobile Toolkit, Medical Automaton, Hunter, Metallurgist, Mechanical Attendant, and the Peacekeeper. The Hanged is next to the Dead Rider. Montressor and Lady Ligeia are hanging back a bit, and August is right next to them. Christian has deployed his pylon markers, 2 in the middle, left and right, 1 at the top left strategy marker, and 1 is right in the middle of his crew, because he can do some shenanigans with power tokens. Handcards round 1 for the JackDaw crew, and handcards for the Hoffmann crew round 1. Initiative flip round 1. I beat Christian 3-1 and decide for him to begin. Christian starts off the game by activating Hoffmann. He gains a power token and shielded +1 because he is within 3 inch of a pylon marker. He then uses alternating current on the Hunter with the inbuilt trigger. The Hunter relents and gets 2 irreducible damage. Everybody around the Hunter gets a power token, so it's everybody. Then he uses secure defenses on the pylon marker and passes with a 13. he drops a scheme marker in base contact with the pylon marker in Hoffmann. Hoffmann then uses Bulldoze and uses a power token for masks. He passes and Hoffmann pushes, taking the scheme marker away, and constructs a pylon marker. Then drops a scrap marker in base contact with himself. With this last MP, he concentrates for a focus. I play a pass token, so Christian goes and activates the mobile toolkit. The mobile toolkit gets shielded and a power token because of the pylon marker. Then it uses tune up on Joss for a focus and fails with a 3, but Christian cheats a 5 to succeed. Then he tries it again and uses a power token for a positive flip, but black jokers. And then he tries to heal the hunter, succeeds with a 12, and the hunter heals 1 HP. I go with Lady Ligeia, who takes a walk action and concentrates for a focus to end her activation. Christian then activates the mechanical attendant, who gets a power token and shielded due to a pylon marker. The mechanical attendant uses his bonus action to give the peacekeeper a power token and push him 2 inches away. Then he uses his internal magnet with a power token for a plus flip and succeeds with an 11. He pushes the peacekeeper 3 inches away. Then he uses a walk action with his last AP to stand behind the peacekeeper. Next, the dead rider goes. He uses Ride with me and fails with a 5. I cheat a 6 to pass and move him and jack a boomer. Then the dead rider takes a walk action towards the right side and concentrates for a focus. Then the new enforcer, Metallurgist, goes and gets a shielded and a power token due to a pylon marker. He uses his bonus action like clockwork on Joss and uses a power token for a positive flip. He succeeds with the 6 of tomes and gives Joss another power token, pushing him 3 inches towards Hoffmann. Then the Metallurgist uses a walk action and lastly activates his Vent Steam Aura to end his activation. I go with Jackano Boomer, who activates her Drowning Aura and succeeds with a 9. Then she concentrates and uses Lure on Hoffmann. We draw 10 to 13 and I cheat an 8 to go to 15 to 13. So I succeed and Hoffmann gets moved towards the center line. Christian activates the hunter, who gets a shielded and a power token because of a pylon marker. The hunter uses his bonus action, giving himself a power token, pushing himself 2 inches, uses a walk action to stand next to the strategy marker and concentrates for a focus. I go with Montresor. He uses Curse to Watch on Jakuna and succeeds with a 4. Jakuna uses her action to use Lure on Hoffmann and we draw 9 to 12. I cheat to 17 to 12, but Christian decides that he doesn't want Hoffmann to go nearer to Jakuna and cheats in 12, so the action fails 17 to 18. Next, Montresor tosses the noose on Hoffmann and we draw 19 to 7. Nobody cheats, so I get a positive flip with an inbuilt ramps trigger to push Hoffmann 3 inches towards me. I draw the red joker doing 5 damage. Hoffmann takes 2 damage because the damage gets reduced for 2 by his armor and 1 by shielded. Additionally, Hoffmann gets staggered by the attack and gets pushed 3 inches towards Montresor. The medical automaton activates and takes a double walk action towards the wounded Hoffmann. Then JackDaw Ensouled activates. He takes a walk action from behind the house and uses Cursed Dreams. He succeeds with a 9 and all models within 8 inches can push 2 inches. Then JackDaw charges Hoffmann and uses his new attack action, Repressed Aggression. We draw 13 to 9 and Christian can't cheat because he's standing in Lady Ligeia's aura. I accidentally do a straight flip for damage, which does weak damage anyway, which gets reduced by 1 because of armor, so Hoffmann takes 1 damage and gets a Curse of Reckoning upgrade, which makes the area within 3 inches of him hazardous terrain for his own crew. I have the blank stare trigger at this point, so I discard a card and Hoffmann gets slow and has also to discard a card, which is the 10 of masks if I remember correctly. Lastly, because I think it's fun, I use Unquiet Soul on Hoffmann, which makes a tormented model take 1, 2, 3 damage or heal 1, 2, 3 damage. And I succeed with a 5 and Hoffmann takes 2 damage, which gets reduced by 1 due to his armor. And at the end of my activation, I draw a card due to Torment. Next, Joss dives into the fray. He pushes himself with his bonus action, takes a walk action, and charges the dead rider. Josh uses his focus, and we end up 15 to 14. I cheat in a 12 for 15 to 18, but Christian has a 13 in hand for 19 to 18. So, Hard to Wound gets negated by Charge Through, and the focus gives Christian ultimately a straight flip. The straight flip does weak damage, but Christian cheats in severe for 5 irreducible damage, putting the rider on 4 health. Next, the last new model yet to be activated goes August Hart. Takes a walk action and tries his bonus action chasing ghosts. He succeeds with the 7, I cheat the 7 of marks for the trigger to get distracted. Then he interacts to give the lodestone to Giacomo Bumo. Peacekeeper goes, gets shielded in a power token due to the pilot marker, pushes himself and takes the double walk action to get in the fray in round 2. Lastly, the Hank goes and directly charges Hoffmann and uses his Deadman's Collar. Christian spends a power token for a plus flip and we end up 14 to 13. With the inbuilt way down trigger, the damage track is 3, 4, 5, and the negative flip does weak damage of 3, which gets reduced by 2 due to his armor, so I do ultimately 1 damage to Hoffmann. We do it again, 16 to 9 with way down trigger again, and the straight flip does severe damage this time. The armor reduces the damage by 2, and the soulstone Christian uses reduces it by a further 2, so Hoffmann again takes 1 damage. Then I do the bonus action Horrible Whisper against Hoffmann. We draw 8 to 10, and I cheat for 15 to 10. He can't cheat because he has just 1 card left, and Hoffmann gets a Forbidden Knowledge upgrade in addition to his Curse of Reckoning upgrade. Summary turn 1. Some movement in this turn. The JackDaw crew is boxed into the bottom right quarter. Josh nearly killed the Dead Rider, and the joint forces of all the JackDaw crew put Hoffmann down to 5 health. I marked the bottom right marker and Christian the upper left marker. August Hart gets distracted at the end of his turn because of his special rule. And I see you at initiative flip for round 2. Those are the hand cards, round 2 for the JackDaw crew. And those are the hand cards for the Hoffmann crew, round 2. Initiative flip, round 2. Christian beats me 13 to 12 and decides that he wants to begin. He activates Hoffmann, who uses secure defenses, passes with an 11, and pushes a marker to be within 3 pylon markers. Then he uses Alternating Current on Lady Ligea, who uses a focus defensively. We draw to 9 to 18, and Christian discards a black joker to Ligea's aura and cheats to 18 to 18, doing 4 irreducible damage to Lady Ligea, killing her. Then he uses his focus and attacks the Hanged. He fails the terrifying duel with a 1, but cheats with a 9. The focus attack ends at 16 to 10, and Christian ultimately cheats a 12 of crows for electroshock trigger. The positive flip results in moderate damage of 4, which is reduced by 1 because of Incorporeal and 1 for the Soulstone. Then he places the Hanged inside his engagement range, but so that he is not longer engaged by the Hanged. Then the Hanged and JackDaw get stunned and injured +1 because of the electroshock trigger. First activation, round 2 for me, is August Hart. He goes in and charges Jaws. The attack draws 16 to 12, and the negative flip does 1 damage. Then he uses Flash Photography. We draw to 15 to 8, so I succeed, and Jaws gets distracted +1 and staggered. Then he tries Chasing Ghost, succeeds with a 12 with the Ghost Stories trigger. Jaws has to do a movement 13 and succeeds with a 10. I draw a card and then discard a card due to hand size. And then I draw a card because of the Torment rule and discard a card because of hand size. Next, the Metallurgist goes and gets shielded in a power token because of a pylon marker. He takes a walk action and uses Like Clockwork on Hoffmann, uses a power token for a positive flip and succeeds with a 9, pushing Hoffmann towards his backline. Then the Metallurgist activates the Vent Steam aura. Dead Rider goes and uses his Scythe on Joss. We draw 6 to 16 and I cheat 19 to 16 with the Reap trigger. Negative flip does weak damage of 3, and Christian uses a Soulstone, draws severe, -3 damage, so no damage for Joss. I push the rider and place Joss inside his engagement range. I attack again. We draw 17 to 10. He cheats 17 to 18 and I match him 18 to 18. So the double negative flip does again weak damage of 3. He uses a Soulstone for -2 damage and -1 armor, so Jaws again takes no damage. The rider uses Ride With Me and fails with a 1. But I cheat an 8 to pass and the rider pushes over towards the left side. Peacekeeper goes, gets a power token and a shielded because of a pylon marker. Then he pushes himself with his bonus action and starts shooting the Dead Rider with his harpoon gun. He uses a power token for a positive flip. We draw 16 to 13, I cheat for 16 to 18 and the attack fails. He does it again and uses a power token for a positive flip. We draw 18 to 8 and I cheat him for 18 to 16, so he has a double negative flip because of Heart Wound. He does weak damage on the rider, and the rider spends 3 tokens in advance to reduce the damage to 1. And then Christian declares that he has Vendetta with the Peacekeeper on the Dead Rider. Jakuna Obumu goes and activates the Drowning Aura, fails with a 3, and I cheat a 9 to pass. And then she charges over and attacks Joss. 16 to 7, and the straight flip does weak damage of 2, which gets reduced to 1 by armor. And then she attacks again. We draw 12 to 9 with the You're Coming With Me trigger. Negative flip again does weak damage of 2, which gets reduced by 1 due to armor. I push Josh through Jakuna over to the left side, which gives him an additional damage because of the Drowning Aura. And then I draw a card due to the Torment rule. Then the heavily injured Joss activates and gets 1 damage due to the Suffocation Aura of Montresor. Then he pushes himself with his bonus action and gets 1 damage because of the Drowning Aura of Jakuna Obumu. And then charges the Dead Rider, again getting 1 damage because of the Drowning Aura. He attacks the rider with his Distracted and fails 7 to 11. And then he attacks again and fails with 10 to 12 again. Montresor goes. He uses his bonus action as Asphyxiation and fails with a 4. I cheat an 8 to pass, so Joss suffers 1 damage. Then Montresor takes a walk action and tosses the noose on the Peacekeeper, but fails with 7 to 9. I draw a card due to Torment and declare that I have Vendetta with Montresor on Joss. The Medical Automaton then goes and tries to heal Hoffmann. Christian at this point uses power tokens for his heals with the Medical Automaton, which shouldn't be possible, but well, we forgot at this point, so I don't think it mattered much. The Medical Automaton passes and heals Hoffmann by 2, and then passes again with a 13 and heals Hoffmann by 2. Point of notice, the Medical Automaton doesn't get damaged by the Hazardous Aura around Hoffmann because of the Metallurgist's Aura, which makes everyone within 6 inches reduce the damage from Hazardous, Blast and Shockwave attacks to 0 via their armor, which is kind of handy in this scenario. Next, the Hank goes, heals 2 because of Regeneration 2+ from the Grave Spirit's touch upgrade, and then concentrates for a focus, walks next to Joss, and ends his activation because he is still stunned. Mobile Toolkit goes, gets shielded and a power token, takes double walk action and uses his bonus actions Field Repairs. He uses a power token for a positive flip, which he can do, and passes. Hoffmann heals for 1 damage. JackDaw goes and uses Inaudible Whisper on the Peacekeeper. Throughout this activation, we forget that the Peacekeeper has Heart Wound, so all damage flip should be 1 more in direction of negative. We just give the Peacekeeper 1 health back at the end of this activation, so we don't have to redo everything. We draw to 16 to 5 for a positive flip, which does 4 damage, which gets reduced by 2 due to armor, 1 due to shielded, does 1 damage, and I draw a card because he can't discard the tomes. We do it again for 19 to 10. The straight flip does moderate damage, which gets reduced by armor to 1, and I again draw a card. Then I attack again because I think it's funny and end up 16 to 13. The negative flip does weak damage of 2, ultimately does 1 damage due to armor, and I again draw a card. At this point I would have drawn another card due to the Torment rule, but I simply forgot. Next, the Attendant goes, gets shielded and a power token, takes a walk action and heals the Peacekeeper, uses a power token for a positive flip and passes with the Red Joker, and then heals the Peacekeeper by 3. He uses Internal Magnet with a power token for a positive flip and passes with an 8. He uses a way to push the Peacekeeper against the building. Christian activates the Hunter, who gets shielded and a power token, pushes himself 2 inches and takes a double walk action to be within range of the strategy marker with his Deadly Pursuit push at the end of the round. Summary, turn 2. The Hunter is able to make a Deadly Pursuit push to mark the bottom left strategy marker. JackDaw crew is still in the bottom right corner of the map. Hoffmann is in the middle with all his pylon markers and glorious crew. Joss is nearly dead with 2 health. The Dead Rider is nearly dead with 3 health. and the rest of everything is pretty healthy. Schemes wise, we have both Vendetta, he with the Peacekeeper on the Dead Rider, and I with the Montressor against Joss. We both get a point for the strategy, because we both have marked at least one marker. I have Catch and Release with the Hanged, who's standing next to Joss. And Christian would like to declare a research mission with the Peacekeeper, who's standing next to 3 markers on my side of the table. Pylon marker, strategy marker, scheme marker. So the current score is 3-3 as we go into round 3. Hand cards for the JackDaw crew in round 3, and I'm going to use Soulstone. I will discard these 2 cards, and my final hand for round 3 looks like this. Christian's hand for round 3 looked like this. Initiative flip of round 3. The initiative ends 11-7 in my favor, and I decide that I do want to begin. I activate the Dead Rider, who attacks Joss. We end up 10-16, I cheat for 17-16, Christian decides not to cheat, and the negative flip does double severe damage of 5. Joss dies and activates his demise. Because he has 2 power tokens, the Rider and the Hanged get 2 damage and 2 injured. Then the Rider uses Ride with Me on the Hanged, passes with an 11, pushes 5 inches towards the bottom of the map, taking the Hanged with him, and then rides away, heavily injured behind the house. First activation for the Hoffmann crew is Hoffmann, who gets a power token and is shielded due to the pylon marker. He charges and attacks JackDaw. He passes the terrifying duel with the 7. He uses a power token for a positive flip and ends up 19-10. I cheat 19-14 for a negative flip, which does 2 damage, which gets reduced by 1 due to incorporeal. Then he uses Bulldoze, passes with an 8, and cheats ultimately with the 10 of Mask, which is not in the video. Hoffmann pushes, takes a scrap marker to make a pylon marker. JackDaw passes his movement 13 duel with a 9. Then Hoffmann uses his bonus action Secure Defenses, passes with a 7 to move the pylon marker over and drop another scheme marker. Then he uses Alternating Current on the Dead Rider and using a power token for a positive flip. We end up 10-10 and Christian immediately cheats to 18-10, and as I would have cheated, I also cheat in an 8 to get to a 12. But anyway, the Dead Rider takes 4 irreducible damage, dies and drops a corpse marker. JackDaw goes, uses Cursed Dreams, fails with a 4. I cheat with an 11 to pass because I think it's important at that point, and push all tormented models within range by 2 inches. Then he uses Inaudible Whisper on the Metallurgist, who uses a power token for a positive flip. I hit him 18-17, the negative flip does weak damage of 2, which gets reduced by 1 due to shielded. I draw a card because he can't discard a tome. I do it again, and I end up 7-16. At this point I cheat in the red joker and declare the On Your Heels trigger. The negative flip again does moderate damage, which gets reduced by shielded, so it's 1 damage. I draw a card and place JackDaw in base contact with the Metallurgist. And then I use the Repressed Aggression melee attack to attack the Metallurgist again, but ultimately fail with 11-18. Metallurgist goes, gains 2 power tokens, 1 because of the pylon marker and 1 because he's next to a construct, and 1 shielded. He uses Command Construct on the Peacekeeper, fails with the 3 and cheats a 10 to pass. Also used the power token for the suit, I guess. The Peacekeeper takes a walk action to get out of the terrain. Then he does a disengage action, and I don't hit him for 13-17. With his last AP, the Metallurgist shoots JackDaw, passes his terrifying duel with an 8, and then uses a power token to get to a straight flip, but fails 7-15 anyways. Hank goes, uses Terrifying Whispers on the Metallurgist, hits with 14-9, Christian doesn't cheat, I cheat down for 11-9 with Mask Trigger for On Your Heels. The Metallurgist gets a Forbidden Knowledge upgrade and the Hanged is placed into base contact with him. Then I use Dead Man's Collar against the Metallurgist and fail 12-16. I do it again and hit him for 13-8. The negative flip does moderate damage of 3, which gets reduced 1 due to shielded, so it takes 2 damage. And I forget that the inbuilt Way Down trigger would do +1 damage, but whatever. Then I draw a card due to Torment because I remembered that rule. Next, Medical Automaton goes, takes a walk action, uses his bonus action Code Red on the Metallurgist. Christian misread the rule and places the Metallurgist in base contact with the Medical Automaton. It should be the other way around, but anyway, Metallurgist heals 1, and then the Medical Automaton goes and heals the Metallurgist, passes with a 9, and heals 1. He cheats in a 6 to heal the Metallurgist by 2. August Hart goes, Hero of the Hour, takes a walk action and charges to attack the mobile toolkit. He uses Crazed Swipe and reduces his distracted condition by 2 to add 2 damage. So he is at a 3-5-6 damage track, ignoring armor and corporeal. The mobile toolkit uses a power token for a positive flip. I hit anyway with 13 to 11, and the negative flip does 3 damage, ignoring armor, killing the toolkit. Then I use Chasing Ghosts and fail, but G2 to pass. And the Metallurgist sadly succeeds with his movement duel with a 9. Peacekeeper Goes gets 1 shielded and 1 power token due to a pylon marker. Then uses his bonus action to push himself and charge the Montresor. The Peacekeeper fails his terrifying duel with a 3, and Christian cheats with a 6 to succeed. He attacks, gets 10 to 7, and I cheat for 10 to 14, so the attack fails. Then he attacks again and succeeds with the red Joker in his terrifying duel. Hooray! Next, he goes 19 to 9 on the attack. He gets a negative flip for Hard to Wound, does moderate damage of 3. I use a Soul Stone to reduce it by 2, so Montresor takes 2 damage. Christian doesn't use Flurry because he fears to be executed and has only 1 card left. Montresor goes and uses Curse to Watch on Jacuna, succeeds, so Jacuna takes a walk action towards the upper right strategy marker. Then he uses it again on the Hanged and fails with a 3. I cheat his 13 to pass to move the Hanged over to stand in the way of Christian's Hunter in front of the middle strategy marker. Mechanical Attendant goes, gets shielded and a power token due to the pylon marker, takes a walk action and uses his Internal Magnet, uses a power token for a positive flip, and he says towards, so he moves the Peacekeeper and the Hunter towards him. Jacuna activates, takes a double walk action to upper right strategy marker and ends her activation. Lastly, Hunter goes, pushes 2 inches and charges Montresor. He fails the terrifying duel and cheats a 7 to pass. He attacks using Focus and the power token for Rams, hits with 16 to 13, negative flip because of Hard to Wound, does weak damage of 3, and I use a Soul Stone for damage reduction of 2, so Montresor takes another damage. He attacks again, passes his terrifying duel with a 9, hits with 17 to 9, and the negative flip again does weak damage of 2. Summary for turn 3. It's getting a bit tense. Montresor is in a desperate battle with the Hunter, Peacekeeper, and I think Hoffmann next turn. It doesn't look good for the second Vendetta point at the end of the game. JackDaw, August, and the Hanged are in Christian's backline and are making a mess out of it. Jacuna is at the top right strategy marker. Points wise, Christian and me both have marked at least 2 strategy markers at end of round 3, so we both get a point for the strategy, and the current score is 4-4. At this point we miscalculated Soul Stones for some reason and thought we had 1 less than we each had, but whatever. That's JackDaw's hand for round 4, and this is Hoffmann's hand for round 4. Initiative flip round 2. JackDaw has initiative +2 because of pass tokens. We draw, so I get 8 to 7. Because I have the lower card, I have to cheat first. So I cheat in 11 to get 13 to 7, and I can begin. My first activation is August the Hero. August the Hero does a charge and attacks the Medical Automaton, reducing his distracted condition by 2 to ramp up the damage track to 3, 5, 6. I hit with 12 to 12, and the double negative flip does severe damage of 6, and the Medical Automaton instantly dies. I'm at a loss for what to do now, so I use my bonus action Chasing Ghosts and fail with a 2, which I don't cheat. And then I use Flash Photography on the Metallurgist, who draws the red Joker for 17 to 19, so my attack fails. Next, Metallurgist goes, gets shielded and a power token, uses Like Clockwork on himself, fails with a 3, cheats a 5 to pass, pushes himself towards the middle, and then uses a double walk action to flee the melee. I use a pass token. Mechanical Attendant goes, uses a walk action, and then concentrates for a focus. I activate the Hanged, and remember that the Metallurgist has the Forbidden Knowledge upgrade, so I can push him 3 at the end of his activation, which we do at this point. I use Horrible Whispers on the Hunter and fail 6 to 17. I use Toss the Noose on the Peacekeeper, 6 to 9 because of cover. I cheat for 12 to 9 and Christian cheats for 12 to 13 for me to fail. And then I use Toss the Noose on Hoffmann and fail 11 to 16, which ends the activation of the Hanged. Peacekeeper goes, pushes himself and charge attacks Montressor again. He passes the Terrifying Duel with a 7. Then we draw to 16 to 17, he cheats a 12 for 18 to 17, and I cheat a 13 for 18 to 19, and the attack fails. Then he tries again, but the Peacekeeper is so terrified that he fails with a 3. Christian decides to flurry, discards a 2, and then passes the Terrifying Duel with a 13. He fails first for 11 to 15, but then cheats another 12 to hit for 18 to 15. Double Negative Flip does moderate damage again, so Montressor takes 4 damage and has 1 health left. JackDaw goes, uses a walk action, tries to curse Dreams, but fails with a 3. Then he charges through the house and attacks the Peacekeeper with Repressed Aggression. We end up 19 to 17, remember hard to wound this time, and Double Negative Flip does moderate damage of 3, which gets reduced to 1 damage by the Peacekeeper's armor. Peacekeeper gets the Betrayer upgrade, so everything within 3 inches of him is hazardous terrain for his own crew. And then I try to heal Montressor, but I hit the Black Joker and fail. Then I draw a card due to Torment. Hoffmann goes, gets shielded and a power token, and takes 2 irreducible damage to lose the Forbidden Knowledge upgrade. He uses his bonus action to blow up the marker next to the center strategy marker, and the Hanged passes his movement duel with an 11, taking no damage. Then he charges and attacks Montressor. He uses a power token for the Terrifying Duel and succeeds. He hits 14 to 7, I cheat 14 to 15, so the attack fails. He again attacks Montressor, passes his Terrifying Duel with a 5, uses a power token for a positive flip. 18 to 14 gets a negative flip because of hard to wound and puncture trigger, and does weak damage of 2. I discard a card to use Demise Eternal and heal Montressor back to 4 health. Next he tries to use Alternating Current for 4 reducible damage to kill Montressor, but fails his Terrifying Duel with a 4 and has no cards to cheat. Montressor activates and uses Curse to Watch on August Heart, but fails. And then he uses a Disengage action. Hoffmann passes his Terrifying Duel with a 6, but fails the attack 8 to 11, so he disengages, pushing Montressor towards the right side of the map. Hunter goes, activates, and pushes himself, takes a walk action, takes 2 damage in the process from the Betrayer upgrade on the Peacekeeper, and then tries to shoot Montressor, but fails his Terrifying Duel with the Black Joker. Jakuna activates and takes a double walk action towards the middle strategy marker to ensure another victory point. Alright, this is very tense at the end of round 4. Christian has marked the 3rd strategy marker and gets 1 point, and Jakuna Boomer has also marked 1, so I get a 3rd point too. Points wise, it's 5 to 5. Montressor is wondrously still alive. Christian's crew is on my table half, mostly, and apart from JackDaw, who's next to the Peacekeeper, my whole crew is on Christian's table half, more or less. So we switched sides, like in a counterclockwise motion. JackDaw is going to try to hinder something from happening, to prevent something from happening, to get 1 point from Christian. Let's see if it works. Cards for JackDaw, round 5, and the cards for Hoffmann in round 5. Initiative flip round 5. 11 to 8 in favor of Hoffmann, so Christian decides for me to begin. I activate Montressor, who walks into the fog bank and uses Curse to Watch on Jakuna Boomer, passes with a 10, and Jakuna takes a walk action towards the top left strategy marker. Christian goes with the Mechanical Attendant, who moves, gets 1 damage due to the Peacekeeper's aura, heals the Peacekeeper, uses a power token for positive, passes with a 7, and heals the Peacekeeper to full health. Hooray! Then he takes a walk action, to stand within 2 inches of the lower left strategy marker. The Hanged heals 2 because of regeneration 2+ from the Grave Spirit's touch upgrade. Then he uses Disturbing Whispers on the Peacekeeper and fails 8 to 12. And then he takes a double walk action to hide behind the house. Metallurgist goes and gets shielded and a power token because of a pylon marker. He uses like clockwork on Hoffmann and passes with a 10, using a power token for a positive flip. Pushes Hoffmann over and then himself takes a walk action and activates the Vent Steam Aura. And then he gets pushed 3 inches due to the Forbidden Knowledge upgrade. Next, August Heart goes, takes a walk action and charges to attack Hoffmann using his Crazed Swipe, failing 11 to 18. And then he tries to use his bonus action Chasing Ghosts and fails with a 7, which ends the last activation of the Hero of the Day. Hunter goes, takes a walk action, pushes himself out of the engagement range of August, and then walks to the strategy marker in the middle. JackDaw activates, tries to disengage. Terrifying Duel is passed, and then I get hit for 10 to 6, but I cheat for 10 to 14 to get away. I push over to the right side, use Cursed Dreams but fail with the 5 and don't bother to cheat. I use Draw Them In on myself and pass with a 7. Now everybody within, I guess, 4 inches has to do a movement 13 duel or get pushed 4 inches towards JackDaw and get staggered. The Metallurgist passes, the Peacekeeper fails with the Black Joker, so he gets staggered and gets moved 4 inches towards JackDaw, which is base contact. Hoffmann fails but cheats with a 10 to pass. I do Draw Them In again, fail with a 3, cheat a 9 to pass. Metallurgist fails, gets staggered and gets pushed a bit. Peacekeeper fails but doesn't matter and Hoffmann passes, so JackDaw's finished for this game. Peacekeeper activates, pushes out and tries to shoot Montresor. He fails his Terrifying Duel with a 5 but cheats with an 11. Uses a power token for a positive flip, hitting a 20 with the Red Joker for 20 to 14. Negative flip because of Hard to Wound does weak damage of 2, putting Montresor on 2 damage. He tries again, fails his Terrifying Duel with a 3 and cheats a 7 to pass. He hits for 18 to 7, but I put in a 13 for 18 to 19, so the attack fails. Jakuna ends the game for the JackDaw crew, takes a double walk action over to the top left strategy marker to ensure the 4th point of the strategy. Last activation of the game. The Hoffmann activates and gets the last power token and is shielded because of a pylon marker. And then he does Secure Defenses, succeeds with the 4, pushes over the pylon marker to be within range of 3 pylon markers. Then he uses a Disengage action and gets hit by JackDaw and cheats to get out. He pushes over and then charges to attack Montresor. Passes his Terrifying Duel with the 7. Uses a power token for Crow's Trigger and hits with 14 to 11. But I cheat in a 13 for 14 to 19, so the attack ends. And because Christian can't kill Montresor any longer because he has only 1 AP left and I have enough cards in hand to activate Demise Eternal again, he decides that he wants to forfeit his last activation. So we have summary of turn 5 and the end of game. Mechanical Attendant on the bottom left, Peacekeeper bottom middle, August Heart bottom right. Hoffmann and Montresor are on the middle right side. The Hunter is at the middle strategy marker. Jakuno Boomer is at the top strategy marker. And the Hanged is hiding behind the building. Points wise, we both managed to mark the 4th strategy marker. Christian the one in the middle, I the one on the top left. So we both get a point for 6 to 6. Christian gets another point for research mission because he has 3 models in 2 inch of 3 different scheme markers on my half. The Hunter, the Metallurgist and the Mechanical Attendant. So it's 7 to 6. Peacekeeper is still alive and his Vendetta target, the Dead Rider, is not alive anymore. So Christian gets another point. So it's 8 to 6. For me, it looks like this. Montresor is still alive for some reason and Jaws isn't. So I get another point for Vendetta for 8 to 7. And the Hanged is still alive, is on Christian's table half and not engaged by any model. So I get the 2nd point for Catch and Release. And now something happens which never has happened before. We finish the game with 8 to 8. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time. Alright, that was a very close game. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Post-game is yet going to take a while. We are probably going to do a title analysis of both masters. We will see. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell button. I say thank you for watching and have a good time until next time.